This story is going to be very all over the place because you guys know that I don't script anything. I haven't written this down or anything like that. I'm going to tell the story, define and describe some things, and elements that still pertain to the original character are going to be shared later on down the line. So you'll need to sit through the entire thing for you to hear all of it. It's not like I'm gonna go straight to the point and tell the story and then break it down. I will break it down as I go. That's how I like to tell stories. If you feel like I'm not getting to the story yet, there's a reason for that. I just thought I would give you the heads up. I need to tell you guys about my story regarding another customer complaint that I got, and this happened yesterday. So here comes this old woman by herself, short, wears glasses, possibly wears a wig. Not relevant to the point, but I want you to keep those details in the back of your mind. And if you have known me for a long time, you know what my opinions are with certain things. You know that I'm very simple. I don't have any appearance complexes. I'm alone most of the time. But just because I'm alone, it doesn't mean that I'm out here behaving crazy, justifying it by saying, well, I'm sick, or I'm having relationship trouble, or I'm having money problems, whatever. I just don't justify it. Just be on your best behavior. When you're a child, you get disciplined. You're supposed to carry that discipline for the rest of your life, not temporarily. So this woman, in the past, I have had issues with her that didn't quite escalate like it did yesterday, or I guess I should say she attempted to escalate. And basically, when she came over to my register, I treat her just like any customer ever. Consistent, same tone, acknowledge you promptly, greet you. I handle your groceries like I handle everybody else's. Her specification is she doesn't need her bags too heavy, which I can see, I can understand. I already had a plan for that. Prior to her arriving at my register, I forgot to mention, she had asked me to lift a case of water and she was gonna empty it into smaller bags. And for that one, since I was dealing with some lower back pain because I think I overextended my muscle, whatever back there, when I was working out 2 days ago, I asked my colleague who was nearby to grab one side and I grabbed the other side and then I squat and lifted and call it a day, because this is a case of water that's in glass bottles. Therefore, it's significantly heavy, and it's the kind of heaviness that I don't want to reach off the floor and lift it up. So that's where I was at. I did that. I opened up the box and she did her thing, dismissed myself. She pretty much dismissed me too. She was like, all right, that's all I needed. So anyway, when she comes to my register, I'm already anticipating that, I gotta be extra sharp because she has a tendency of being the way that she is. I, at the end of me scanning, tell her her total. And then she goes, it's gonna be a little less after I scan my rewards program. And I'm like, okay, it's ready for you when you are. This is the way I handle that. Editing them, interjecting real quick. One of the ways that I handle this too is that if I see during my scanning and reading of the details of the item that nothing you got is on sale, I am not going to bother you with your program. But with some people, even if they insist on wanting to scan it, I encourage it still, because there are some sales that may not be easy to pick up with the bare eye. If they are already going through the process of getting their rewards program out, I'll take it. But if I observe you holding your device already, then I'm patient. I wait to see if you're performing the act of launching your reward program. And if you're not, then I may encourage you to do it. But normally, if there's nothing, I don't want to bother you, but I know that there's people who, even if you reassure them that there's nothing, they just want to try. And I think that is the right thing to do. You should try every single time. If I see you reaching for something or holding your phone, people primarily obtain their little rewards program by using their phone. If I see you holding your phone, I give you a few seconds. I'm not going to just be like, I am a rewards member, get your thing to scan, whatever. I like to give you a minute because I don't know about you guys, but me personally, I hate it when someone tells me something that I'm already doing, something that I'm already working on, something that I'm transitioning into. But had you given me one more fucking second, you would have realized that. I understand that that's the way that I am, and I shouldn't apply the way that I am to other people. But I like to give people a break from noise. So at the end of me scanning, I will look at my computer. And if I observe that your rewards program is not there, and I observe that your phone is nowhere on your hands, that's when I will ask, hey, do you have your rewards program thing to scan? And they go, oh, thanks for reminding me. Or, oh, give me a second. I'm just shuffling for my card and I'll be right on it. And I'm like, no problem. Take your time. That is it. If I see that you have your phone, I will grab my scanner and I will kind of like hover over you and be like, are you ready to scan? And sometimes people go, oh, I don't have the program. Or they'll be like, yeah, it's loading. Give me 1 second. There it is. And then they show me the screen. I scan it. Boom. This old lady, of course, does not have enough, I guess, social skill or understands courtesy, I guess. That is something that I do. But my point is that she didn't have to be nasty about it. She didn't have to be like, my total is going to be less when I scan my rewards program because you didn't ask me for it. That's what she said. Editing them here again. Basically, when she says it like that, it's as if she's saying that like she's busting me. Like I wanted to overcharge her. I didn't give her the chance to make her total different. And if you stick around until later, you will hear the rest of this little bit right here. She said, when I told her your total is like $136.47, something like that, she was like, it's gonna be a little less because you didn't ask me for my rewards program. And then she gave me like a gross look and I just looked at her like normal and I said, all right, it's ready for you whenever you are. Because I'm still in the middle of bagging. I'm still putting your stuff together, whatever, just give me the second. I'm giving you your time. I'm giving you your space. I did not charge your card. I did not observe you inserting your card. She had her card nowhere in sight. It's not like you were about to pay and I never asked you for your discount. If I see you about to pay and I see no indication of you reaching for your rewards program, I will ask. I ask 100% of the time. But your bitch ass does not know that because you think you have a case against me. And another thing that I believe is that you're intimidated by my performance because something I have been noticing is that some disabled people, especially old people, are really sensitive about my mobility and my abilities and my talents and my speed and my speech and my sharpness. Just like I told you guys about the blueberry guy who was really sensitive, thinking that I was mistreating his berries when I was bagging them, and my supervisor happened to be right there, so he saw exactly how I handled those stupid berries and how not abusive I was handling them. Anyway, so little things like that. These are people, just like one of you guys told me in the comments years ago, that changed my life. You are people lacking confidence. And it also doesn't help that you are alone. It's always the old woman by herself who has physical limitations or voluntary physical limitations, because to me she doesn't look like there's anything wrong with her. She's not that old and she's not that frail looking, so I don't get her mindset But I do understand that possibly it is that she goes to a person, she goes to a human cashier as opposed to self checkout because she wants to be served. And I'm like, if you pick me to serve you, then you have to accept my style of serving you, which is compliant with the company expectations. And it's definitely better than what you could achieve on your own if you're opting for going to the professional instead. I'm not offended that she says that. I know she's stupid. That's why she's looking for my service. I don't like the nastiness with which she says it. This is an older person dressed elegantly, but by herself and challenging me. And this is the other part. Another thing she did was she had 2 cases of water that she had taken out of a box, and she had 2 different bottles. In the time that it was taking her to pay, I knew I had time to take the loose bottles and place them in her bag that she had in her cart along with the other bottles. But because she had her purse and the bags with the waters in a certain way, and her shopping cart really wasn't defaulted, arranged in a way that made sense to me, I decided to not even attempt to touch her bags. That, and when the transaction is processing, say your card or whatever, I like to stand by my register anyway because sometimes my drawer will open if you're requesting cash or if I owe you cash for whatever reason. The pattern is usually if I split your payment between cash and card, it will open, and if you request cash back, it will open. I can predict that. But there are certain scenarios in which I may not, and my drawer pops open, and I don't want to trust that the screen in which there is a button I gotta press for the drawer to actually open, I don't want to trust that that screen is going to show up and stay and in turn keep my drawer closed. I like to stand next to it in case something happens, because what if my drawer opens and someone behind her reaches over and I don't catch it, and that creates a mess that would have been perfectly preventable had I actively observed my register. When I put her bottles up, again, based on how I know the register and how I know I'm moving and how long I know it takes to process things like that, I was on my way back to my register because I'm anticipating that, hey, the transaction is about to be over, the receipt is about to print if no cash back was requested. Lo and behold, that's how it happened. As soon as I took my last step to face my screen, it said, thank you for shopping with us, whatever it says. And the receipt printed, and I grabbed it and I handed it to her, and the rest of her bags, I pushed them toward her like I do for every person ever. And I say, thank you, have a good one. And she's like, you're not gonna load this into my cart. And this is not the first time she says that to me. And I'm like, did you need some help? And she's like, you all used to load this onto the cart. Do you not do that anymore? And I said, we normally don't. The cashier normally doesn't. However, if you need the assistant, let me know and I'll be happy to help. So would you like the assistant? And then she goes like, and then finishes loading stuff onto her cart. I start my next order, and my next customer, she witnessed all that and she was fine. She's another regular. She's perfectly fine, perfectly normal. And this old lady took the time to go up to my manager at customer service to complain. And of course, my manager, just heard her out. And I guess he must have been like, I'm so sorry that happened, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we do help whenever it's needed. At this time of the day, we don't usually have someone floating out and about to help you out to your car and stuff like that. But if you let us know when you need something, we'll help you. Editing Zam again. And most importantly, this is how fucking smart and considerate I am. You guys know that women tend to carry these hoarding devices known as purses. When I see that you have your purse loaded onto the cart, I do not reference it, I do not look at it, I do not touch it. I just acknowledge its presence and I go nowhere near it. Because most of the time, when you are by the payment terminal, obviously that shit is going to be unzipped, unbuttoned, and I wouldn't want for there to be any room for misunderstandings. Like, I lost something. Maybe when she was loading things into my cart, she took it. That has never happened to me, but you know what? Maybe it has never happened to me because I have not enabled it to happen. I have not opened the door for that to happen by entering the territory where the customer's personal belonging is. That is how fucking smart I am. Just keeping myself out of trouble, keeping my life simple, avoiding disasters. The way to be. That's normal conduct, normal behavior. But again, the woman by herself and old always has the time to complain about getting shitty service when she's not willing to help herself. I want to understand what the fuck has to happen to you in your life to get to that level to where you're incapable of self-serving. And you have to assume that everything is about you and everything is the worst. And I have other customers who are in her similar situation, but these ones are a little more polite about it. There is one who I know is probably undergoing treatment based off what I observe about her physical condition and her physical appearance and her requests, which are, please don't bag my things too heavy. I've been seeing her for years and at some point she had a helper. I don't need her to tell me she's a patient of something to be able to figure that out. I can see it. Your skin tone changed, your weight changed. I'm smart. I can figure that out. You don't even have to tell me. Blah, blah, blah. You fit the description. On top of that, I have had people close to me go through that shit and I know the physical changes that incurs. People like that, they usually do what they're supposed to do, which is let me know that, hey, please back them light. And if you don't mind, please load them for me. I'll be okay when I head out to my car. I have somebody waiting for me. Or if you pack them light and put them all at the very top here and I hold one, that works. They talk, they communicate, and they do so politely. That is the point. But this stupid crazy woman, she always has a problem. Her and another person who isn't even up there in age, I want to say she's in her 40s, maybe mid to late 40s, and she too has issues sometimes. But at least once I knock out her order, that's the way to neutralize her. She wants to be in and out quickly. And the only time this other person freaked out at me is when I was by myself, but I was running customer service and I did not have an actual cashier lane open. I was like, I can take you at customer service. And she was intimidated by how she had to unload her small order, but to her, it looked like she had a $1,000 order. And I said, yes, ma'am, I can assist you up here at customer service. At this time, we don't have a cashier. I think my cashier at the time, she was either in the bathroom or she was taking a break. Something happened. She wasn't available, but I was. And even if you were to put me out there in sticks and stones, I can get you in and out quick. But you have to be alert and you have to be cooperative. But if you aren't, then I cannot work with you. Help me help you. That is how you should see everywhere you go in life when you're getting service. What can I do to help myself get the service that I actually expect? So if you know that at customer service, there isn't a conveyor belt, maybe just observe me as I go, and as the space clears up, just continue unloading your things as normal. And on top of that, naturally, given my experience and talents, I am fast as fuck. Whether there's a belt there or not, it doesn't matter. Just don't argue with me. Follow my instructions. I say unload, you unload without asking any questions, and period. But if you instead begin to argue with me going like, I gotta unload this here at customer service. I mean, this is not a place that's built like a regular register. You don't know that. You don't have my job. You don't work here. You probably have never had this job before. You have no idea what kind of performance I have at customer service. Like I said, all you have to do is shut the fuck up and comply with what I say. But for some reason, Americans be having problems just listening, following instructions, and having faith in the people who serve them. I don't know where that arrogance comes from now. Too much comfort, too many easy desk jobs, too much online ordering. I don't know what it is, but you all, some of you just, y'all piss me off. You really do. You make my job suck. A job that when I started, I loved. Now it sucks because, like I have always said, after COVID, I don't know what happened. Your genetic information mutated and it's terrible. It sucks to work for some of you. For those of you who feel and think and act this way. And I will continue to put you on blast here for as long as I can. That's the kind of thing that I guess continues to promote my feeling of being antisocial and just feeling like people drain me. And it's because you need to practice the art of observing. And the problem is that people like this, when you point them out on their bullshit and you prove them wrong, they'll be like, oh, I didn't know. Another thing I have had someone do is my belt was wet because I just sanitized it. And you can tell that my belt is wet uniform, and then they go, you need to wipe this down and clean this because it's wet. And I'm like, yeah, I just sanitized it, give it a minute. Oh, that's sanitizer? Oh, well, I didn't know. You guys, if you haven't seen this because you're new or maybe you forgot, remember that well, I didn't know video that I made years ago. Give it a watch again if you have to. But yeah, that kind of shit, that is what makes me zangry. With this lady, from what my manager during the going over the incident process indicated, I didn't do anything wrong, which makes sense. I'm an 11-year fucking vet. And I knew at the time that I was dealing with that lady that I wasn't doing anything wrong. The only wrong thing I was doing is I had the disgrace of having someone incompatible with me visit me through my lane. But I'm not going to stop doing things the way that I'm used to and know how to just because someone out here is sensitive about it. I just shared this because it's part of my experience. I like to share it anyway. I love venting. It's fun. But also, it makes me continue to point out and collect personal data and evidence about what I have been saying for years. To me, the most terrifying creature, most dangerous, threatening to my safety and well-being is the woman, especially the woman who is by herself. Extra points if she is older, and even additional points if she has a degree of disability. And look, disability sucks. I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going to downplay it or anything like that. But consider that just because your world is perceived through limitation, sure, it's nice for those of us in service to adjust to you and adapt to you, but you also have to understand that there may be times in which you may experience a delayed response with that. Like say, if I'm the only cashier and I don't have an assistant, and my supervisor is busy and you're ready to go out, but you need help. And I'm like, well, I'll find you your help. Give me 1 second. Expect the delay. Some days just be like that. Shit happens. People get sick. People call out, whatever. No matter what happens when I'm at the register, I cannot leave my register. So even if you tell me that your car is like right there by the exit, and you're on the first spot because you're on the handicap spot, I'm sorry, I cannot leave my register. You could say it's a loss prevention policy. I have to be responsible for my register because it has money in it. Even if I were to lock my screen, that area has to be monitored. There has to be someone present there because of the presence of money. It keeps me safe, it keeps my colleagues safe, it keeps you customers safe, and it also keeps the company safe. And I know the company has money and insurance and protection of assets and stuff like that, but it's best if there is a deterrent, and all I have to do is be right there and present. That's it. When you have a struggle like that, if you require special accommodation, you have to learn to be patient, and you have to learn to prepare yourself for the possibility of delays. You may need to stand for long periods of time because maybe that cart that we have that's electric may not be available for you. You can either decide to go back to your car, come back at another time, or maybe call us ahead and be like, I was wondering if the electric cart is available, because you don't have to tell me you're disabled, but for the purposes of explaining this, because you're disabled, you have a need, then I can say yes or no. And if you hear no, be prepared to hear no and accept it and deal with it. Some of you, if we say no, it's like you are entitled to having your problem resolved. And that is just gross, because unfortunately, you're not the only person who exists in this planet and in this world and in this space. Again, I'm not saying that I have issues with you because you have those special needs and limitations and your emotional, mental state may be out of equilibrium, but I'm saying that to ensure a smooth experience for you and those around you, if you know that you have those special needs, you on your end be prepared. Bring your glasses, bring your cane, bring your crutches, bring your walker. Whatever it is that you need, you gotta do your part. But some of you just love to depend on the things that we provide for your convenience, and you expect for it to be available for you. That is what I have problems with. So this lady who complained about me yesterday, if she has those special needs, if she has any, whatever, then she has to be ready to communicate that, preferably kindly too, and not attempt to insult my performance. And you know what else happened after she gave me her little attitude of, my total is gonna be a little bit less because you didn't ask me for the rewards program. She did not get a single cent off. So you know what I did? I said, your total is still $136.47. It was delicious to say that. The look in her face. She was just like, and you know what she did? My manager told me that when she went up there to complain to him, that she was like, and on top of that, she didn't apply my discount. My total didn't change when I put in my discount. So my manager had to reason with this infant and tell her that, oh, your rewards program did go through, but you didn't have any eligible items. So anyways, you guys, that's my venting, bitching, and moaning. I know this became unnecessarily long, but like I said, this is my journal. I am recording this kind of incident. And on top of that, from what I remember, I have been saying over the years, all I keep doing is collecting more evidence to back up what I have been saying all this time. It's been happening since 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Get it together, man. I'm just saying, if you're really so proud of your gender and race and sex and stuff, then you gotta act like it. Be a good representative. If you're an older lady by herself, dressing all elegant, you still gotta be nice. If you're nice, people are going to be more willing to help you. But the good thing about me is that when I say thank you, have a good day, I know how to put up a barrier to where you visibly disappear. It's like you're no longer made of matter to me. Because if I didn't, then I would take it personal and her presence would continue to affect me. And that is the difference between me now and me how I was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I would have been intimidated by that goddamn lady. But now it's like, I have experience backing me up and I have consistency backing me up. All of the clowns I help in my day can say that I am consistent every single time, day or night, period or no period, pain or no pain, having slept or not having slept, having respiratory issues or not having them, having eaten or not eaten. I am consistent, period. Right, guys, that's really it from me. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.